So, let's start off a little light. Okay, so, how'd you get into dancing?
Oh, that's a great question. So I guess my very first introduction dance would be my freshman year of high school. I was thrown into a class. It was called, I forgot what it's called. It was called Theater Appreciation. There it is. And it was basically you have three different rotations. One was dance, one was tech, and the other one was acting. And there's three, and different groups started at different ones. I started with dance, then I did tech, and then I did acting. So I guess as far as like the dance portion, I go in there, me as was well a lot of other kids, I felt like we want to like change out of it. It was like, oh, we don't want to like do ballet and all this stuff. So in fact, and I think I went to go change, or like, oh, you can't change yourself or what happened. So I ended up being or whatever. So I'm in the class, and then the first style we do is ballet. So of course, all the masculine guys are all like, like, we don't want to do this, and I'm kind of like, all right, I'll do whatever. So I didn't really think much of it. I just went with it. To me, it was just kind of like, just go past the class. Basically, was like my mentality. And then there's like a point where they had like senior like TA assistants, and then one day I was just like going to class, and then like one of the girls was just like, or two of them were just like, hey, you're a really good dancer or something. And I was like, and then keep in mind at this point, I didn't really have a lot of social like contact with like women and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like just they complimented me. I was like, and then I felt it kind of like I thought to myself, I was like, oh, like maybe I might be good at this or whatever. I went through it. It was cool. But then like later we had a show, and I only they ask you like what you want to do, and I only wanted to do like acting. Um, and then I remember it was really lame because like at that point in the class, like everyone you're just rehearsing for whatever you're in, and then so I was in acting, and then they pretty much put me as like almost like an extra, and that was like the only thing I was in, and I was like, wow, this is so lame. Like I'm not doing anything, and then I was like watching everyone like do the dances, everyone like having fun, and all this stuff, and then I asked the teachers like, oh, can I like be put in dance or something, and then they ended up putting me in like this partner dance. I don't know. It was cool. And then so I didn't really like pursue it at that point or anything, but that was like kind of introduction. And then like I was also at the time I was also like a runner, like cross country and track, and that was kind of like my main thing at the time. And then I think it was like my junior year. So yeah, after the theater thing, I didn't really do anything artistic after that. So then my junior year, I some of my cross country friends was like, hey, you want to come to this salsa club with us, whatever. And I was like, okay, why not? Whatever. It's like, oh, it's cool because you got to learn like salsa, and obviously we get to like dance with girls and like all that stuff. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I was doing that, and then there's a point where I feel like it was just like me and like my cross country friends like in like the salsa club, and then like we performed and stuff. So I guess that was like kind of like I guess a more like kind of official introduction. Like I guess my first like club team or whatever. Um, and so I stuck with that for like junior senior year, and then this is at Narbonne High School, and then I went to El Camino, and the same people that brought the company to Narbonne, they're originally from Redondo. They had their own division at El Camino, so I kind of just like I joined that, and then like at that point, like somebody was just like, oh, like we're take like this jazz class or whatever. So like I kind of did that, and I feel like at that point I became a little more like invested, more interested in dance. And also on the salsa team, there was like a a good amount of like hip hop dancers. I remember before that point, I tried to learn how to do like a glide, and I was like watching these videos, and I was like, and I kind of tried it, and I feel like my body had like no idea what the hell like what was going on, and I kind of like gave up at that point. But then like I saw these guys like doing it, I was like, man, I need to be cool like these guys. And then it's kind of crazy to me because I remember like I would like be practicing stuff, and there's like one random moment where they were having like a cipher or something, I forget how it came out, but then I remember I like did something and they were like, oh, that was tired or something. I was like, oh, it was like that's cool. So I basically started out, yeah, doing like salsa, and then like, yeah, I did more technical stuff. And then it's kind of because I didn't really start doing like train heavily in hip hop until like I really went to like Boogie Zone, I think in like 2016.
How'd you find out about Boogie Sound?
Um, wow. So one of my friends, she, no, I think how did she? And I think she's invited me to take like a popping class. I was like into hip hop, and she's like, "Oh, you should go take a popping class." And I feel like back then I was pretty like ignorant and like stubborn in a lot of things. Like I was like, it's like, nah, I don't want to do that or whatever. And then like I eventually took it. I was like, oh man, it's so cool, like so much fun. And then I was like the only student for um like a month, and then like I think he had to change times,
Mhm.
and so I wasn't able to go anymore, which is pretty sad.
So you would say your start into dance was heavily influenced by girls.
As a lot of guys say, I would say yes.
He's like, so the girls
Yo,
told me.
I mean,
Or was that like an additional perk?
I mean, there's a point where I feel like it was like a perk, but then I feel like at first it was kind of like, oh, like if I do this, I can like talk to girls more. So like that.
Yo, yeah.
I didn't hear that. I was like, you did it for the girls.
Yeah, yo, same. Like,
Yeah, well, like I said, I feel like a lot of straight guys, like I feel like that might have been part of like their motivation.
Girls like this.
Just like that. Was that your inner
Like
voice?
A little bit. No, like I said, like when that senior TA was like, "Oh, you're a good dancer," and like the way she looked at me, I was like, "Oh wow!" Like, well, really, yeah.
She noticed me.
Now,
Go out there, hit my
what is your
tour.
motivation for dance?
Now my motivation, well, definitely like it's therapeutic. I feel like as of recently, I feel like I've been having like, especially since quarantine, I've been having like anger issues just because of like my relationship with people and like I guess stuff I allowed to happen. But so like therapy is a big part of it. I think it's always cool to see like how far people can like push their bodies and like all the crazy stuff. Like for example, like a lot of the videos they're watching today, I was just like, wow, I thought you could go this far, but you can go like up here, like even farther. But um, and it's like just like the sense of like community and like the experience, all this stuff.
Tell me about your anger with people.
I knew it. I was like, oh, he dropped
Dang,
the seat right there.
my anger with
This is
people.
the hot seat.
Dang.
How it relates to COVID.
I feel like there's multiple layers to that. Well, one of them would be like I was sort of saying earlier, I had a friend I known for about since high school, my junior year, so about graduated 2010, so like almost wait, I'm at 12, 10. Yeah, like 30. Like, yeah, that's not right, but,
I
sorry.
2010,
But yeah,
so I'm like,
yeah, about 13 years, and then I would even go as far as I would consider him like a brother and all that stuff. But then there's a point where I just started to feel like it was a really like toxic relationship, and almost to the point where I realized like he would just kind of do shit he would want to do, and it's like I would either just kind of have to go with it, or it's like I'd have to make. There's a point too where it's like if I wanted to like to speak my mind about something, I feel like I was being like that, like don't do that, like like that really like like so there was that, and I feel like also it took me a while to like realize because there's like something that was bothering me about relationship for like a really long time, and there's also a point where I feel like I knew all these people and I would like have all these friends and stuff, but I feel like when it came down to like actually needing someone to like hang out with or like talk to or something, I feel like I would like virtually get like ghosted or like whatever. Especially during quarantine, I feel like I kind of developed this mentality where it's if you didn't like respond to me or I feel like you're giving me some time, it's kind of like F you. And I literally had like these moments where I would literally just kind of just like, man, fuck you, like F you, like all this stuff. And like people that like I feel like have been really good to me that didn't do anything to me. I was like, man, like screw you, like you're so happy, like I'm tired of you or whatever. Or like especially like seeing people like hang out and stuff. I feel like that was like it was like starting to just like build to this point. I was like, dang, do I suck or something? Like why are people like that or whatever? So yeah, I feel like it was I feel like just in general, like, the quarantine like energy and vibe combined with like everything else. I was kind of like it was starting to be a point where I was like little things where I would just like lose my shit completely. I've gotten a lot better at now, like because especially because I've realized a lot of things that have been triggering me, and like I said, like with my friend, like I was feeling like there's stuff like bothering me, but I didn't know why. So it's like I think like knowing why stuff bothered me helped me like kind of get over it. But
Did you ever like kind of dig and like flesh out that why?
oh yeah, no, I had to, no, because like there's a point where I just like why do I get angry so easily, and especially like certain things, like why does this make me upset?
Does dance help tone down some of these feelings when they come in? Have you
Oh yeah,
been
definitely.
able to mesh dance?
I feel like dance is, to this day I think is one of the I think every time I dance it always makes me feel better no matter how like crappy I feel. Especially if it's like it was funny because I actually had this experience recently with like this girl, and then I had to teach like a class the next day, and I actually just ended up making like this really like angry choreography.
Oh my
That's kind of funny.
Wow.
It was kind of funny though, but I feel like it kind of worked out. I was like, wow. I was like, emotions, they work.
Yeah.
They really help.
Emotions.
Like, yeah, if I have a day of like I feel like crap or something, and the second I start like stretching or like dancing or something, I'm like, oh, I feel better. I was like, why do I feel like crap? I was like, but yeah.
Would you rather shit out a bowling ball or piss out a marble?
Oh my god.
Wait, shit out of bowling ball or piss out of marble?
Oh, and just remember, if you, as long as you don't mind anyone watching and seeing this.
Well, if I had to be completely honest, I think I would rather tolerate pain in my butt than in the other area. So.
So you'd rather
Bowling ball it is.
shit out of a bowling ball?
Wait,
That was my question.
yeah, marble's like that big, right?
It depends on this marble. This
That's
marble is like
Yeah, how
It's
big
not
is
a
this marble?
kidney
How big is the
stone.
marble?
marble is like this, a regular sized marble, like this.
That's like a.
Like, you ever had a kidney stone?
No, but
Okay.
it sounds
To
really
our viewers,
unpleasant.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
These are the questions
I
that
mean,
people want to know.
I hope that no one has experienced either of those. But
Oh, we
if I
have. Look.
You've had to piss out a kidney stone?
No, after childbirth, for some reason, your
Yeah.
gut, everything, your guts have to rearrange, and one of your first few movements are painful. If you have had a kid, you know, it's insane. It's insane. It's ungodly. I'm not gonna get too much into
I
it,
did-
but it's an experience.
I
Not
had
a bowling ball.
I had a
but-
stepdad that had two kidney stones at 2 different times, and he didn't make. And he wasn't one to like complain or anything, but he said like it hurt. I was like, okay. I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh. All right, what else do we have? Okay. Would you say that you choreograph a lot to reflect situations you've been in? Like, if people watch your choreography online, will they be like, oh, that's about me?
Not necessarily. I mean, especially now, because I feel like most of my, or pretty much everything I choreograph right now is just for class. So it's mainly just like random stuff, like bits and pieces. But I feel like, you mean, yeah, I've had like, a solo or two where I feel like, I
Someone would know.
would have, actually, it was kind of cool because I actually did have a solo where I kind of was like that. And I feel like people were like, oh, like blah, blah, or they're like, they saw stuff that was like, oh, like that translated, or like even like a retreat. I feel like I did something like Lauren, you said, I was like, oh dang, like you saw that. Like I was like,
You picked up what I was
I was
putting
like,
down?
wait a minute, yeah. I was like, what? I was like,
Do the songs you choose, do you choose songs based off situations or people?
not necessarily. I feel like with the exception of like the angry one I told you about, I feel like I don't usually. It's more usually it's just like I'll just hear something and if it vibes, I'll be like, all right, let me do it. But also on that note, I usually it's rare that I can choreograph anything like more than a day than when like it needs to be done.
Oh, right.
Like I
like that.
and it's like it's so hard because it just turns into freestyle. Like I'll put a song and I'll start dancing and I'll start freestyling and then like I was like I don't even know how the hell to like choreograph this freestyle like to the song and it's just like
Tell us about your first heartbreak.
Ooh. And how long ago was it?
That's a very interesting question. Heartbreak. I guess I would have to say, I guess my first real heartbreak would be 6, 7 years ago. I don't remember, but it was kind of funny because somebody I was like dating, they also go to like Boogie Zone, and then it was kind of funny because like the day like it happened, I was actually like telling people, I was like, oh, like we're dating or whatever, and it was like, oh, cool, cool, and then like that same day, like she ended up like breaking up with me, but we were together for like.
Day?
It was really funny when I think about it. But yeah, we went out for like 5, I think almost 6 years. And yeah, it was kind of interesting because I feel like we did like a lot of like stuff together. Like we went to school together, we like danced together. We were actually we had a choreography class. Like I was in like her thing and she was like in my thing. And then
Oh.
and yeah, and she's still like at Boogie Zone or Epicenter now. So it's like I actually had to like go through a point where I was like, okay, like we're either like it's either gonna be really awkward or we can like make some like balance of like friendship or something. Which I feel like it's like cool now. I feel like we're like friends or whatever.
Damn.
But yeah, I feel like there's still part of me that's like, dang, I wonder like how this would be if like you didn't work here. And I feel like, like, but yeah, so I guess that would be Yes.
It's so awkward.
Yeah,
You have to grow up.
I don't know if you're familiar with BZX.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this girl I was like talking to at BZX. There's a point where we were like just like she would invite me to watch like Friends with her and shit. Like she was pretty much like initiating all the contact work, right?
Yeah.
And so like the last 2 days she was just talking about like sex and all this stuff, and I was like, and it was funny to me because like this point I was like, is this what girls talking about? Because like up to that point, like I pretty much only really talked to like my girlfriend at the time, so I was like, this is what girls talking about. But and then she kept bringing it up. I was like, is she like trying to hint at something or whatever? And she kept talking about like sex with the other guy. I was like, oh, this is stupid. So anyway, so we're watching TV, whatever, and then one thing leads to another, and like we end up like we're cuddling on the couch or whatever. And like at this point, she never said no or anything, whatever like that. And then even like I think there's like one or two people that actually walk by because like the room is kind of like a glass door, and you can kind of see in, but it's kind of dark too. So, but at least like I know at least like one or two people like saw this and like didn't see like any like struggle or anything like that. So whatever. And then so. And at this time, like I didn't have any reason to think anything bad of this girl, whatever. So, so she's like, this is what she told me. So I'm like touching her in intimate places, right? And then to the point where she's like, either like do me or stop. And this is like at 3 or 4 in the morning. Like we just got out of like rehearsal, whatever. So I'm like, look, yeah, like I'm too tired to do anything. And then also. We're at like the studio, and then anyone can like walk in. Like I don't just fucking like walk through the door at any moment. So that'd be awkward. So anyway, so yeah, so just being respectful and being tired, all that. I was just kind of I'll just stop. And then she was like, oh, and also I technically was supposed to be at work at 5 in the morning, and this was around like 3 or 4. So I ended up calling out, which she also convinced me to call out, and so. We're chilling, and then she's like, "Oh, I need to go home real quick because basically I made her wet, and she didn't have a change of underwear." And like at first I was like, "You didn't bring underwear? You're staying here for like 2-3 weeks, and who knows how long?" And this is like not your first time doing it, so I'm like, what's going on?" So and then I didn't really think much of it because I didn't have any suspicion or anything. And then I also kind of gassed myself. Oh, they're okay, like go home and change, but And then she hugged me, like there's nothing, like I didn't feel like anything was off at all. So and the next day I text her like in the morning, whatever, and like I don't get any response. And then and she also said she's gonna be back like in the morning. So and I think at the point I texted her like was when she was supposed to have been back already. So anyway, I don't hear from her like the whole day, and then I'm just like, okay, like maybe something's off or whatever. So she comes back eventually. And then I kind of get the vibe that she's kind of like trying to avoid me. And like there'd be like people like talking, like the little kitchen area in the back. Yeah. So people like be like talking back there, and like I'll just go in there, and then she literally would just like stop and get up and leave. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then there's a point where she was like to the whole room, she was like, oh, who wants to go out and watch Friends or whatever? And like I was and then like no one said anything, like, oh, maybe I can talk to her. So I went on with her, and then she was like sitting there. And this other guy, who I didn't realize at the time, I didn't know who the other guy was. He was just chilling back there, whatever. And then so it was just us 3 watching it, and he got up and left. And then right after he left, she was like, "Let me know if Mike comes back." Like that was the name. And then I was like, "The fuck?" And then like she was walking away, and I just straight up asked her like, do you feel like some type of way about like what happened or whatever? And she was like, "No." And she like walked away, and I was like, "Okay, like this is fucking weird." And so And so I'm like walking to the kitchen, and like she was apparently she came out of her room because she saw my shorts like through the door or whatever. And she gave me like this big hug, and it was like she went back, and it was really awkward. So anyway, she's been really weird and awkward. And then eventually she just stops coming. And then my first thought is like, oh, I'll text you and come because I made her feel uncomfortable or whatever. And then like and there's a point where I was feeling I did something wrong, which just because like I wasn't in like the best place mentally. So like and then like one of my friends, she was like, Luna, she was like, oh, she brought up her name. And then I was just kind of like, oh, I think she might not be there because of me or whatever. And then she was like, what? And I told her what happened. And then she basically told me all this shit about how she's like a chronic liar. She's like shady, all this stuff. We were actually supposed to go like on a date that she invited me to. And then at the time I didn't have a car. And I actually like lied to my mom about the reason to take her car just because, I want to pick her up and stuff. And so she like, as I'm like going to like pick her up, I'm like texting her, she doesn't respond. And then later she tells me she's like at the doctor's, which is why she didn't respond, which is apparently like her go-to excuse. But anyway, it's kind of funny because I feel because of that situation, I got closer to like Luna and Elm because that time I didn't really like talk to them that much. And then I was like awkward because I actually knew her friend and I could tell like someone was up because her friend was giving me like the cold shoulder. And then I explained to them like my side, like they already kind of knew she was shady. So I feel like yeah, it worked out. But so yeah, like I said, I feel like at the same time, it ironically got me closer to like Elm. So I feel like that was like I guess like the benefit of it. But yeah, so I was like,
Whew.
Wow.
The roller coaster. Oh my god. I wasn't expecting
We're gonna end that hot seat right there because that's
okay.
spicy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a big one.
this person was currently banned from the studio because they actually started more drama and was trying to because this. So it was actually really sad because this guy that she was like going out with, he surpassed her as a dancer like in like. Really fast because she was like slacking and all this crap. And I think there's a point where she's got jealous because she's getting all this recognition and respect and all this stuff. And then and I feel like she would try to like purposely put him down to like so she he would be like you know what I mean, like, and I was like and I guess eventually there's a point where she accused them like they were having an affair with this person. And then I was like crazy, yeah.
What the hell?
All right, time.
What?
What's the time on
We're
this?
we're done.
Okay, great. I was gonna say, I'm like, we probably want to be careful if we name drop, especially if other people still in the community. Yeah. I'm like, we're gonna.
Yeah. Well.
Rated RX.
And since it's a little bit on spicier, it might just be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, like the first half. The first half.
The first half was good.
Yeah.
We'll have to. Yeah. People have to pay for that.
So
Not for
I
free.
think we're gonna wrap it there. And Crystal, you're up.